I tell people, and even my daughter says it. She said, "You don't know the daughter of who I am. You don't tell us you can't do it. If you say you can't do it, that's when we'll do it." So when people showed this oh, she's a woman, she may not be, instead of making me feel to go and sit down and not do it, I decided that, okay, I'm going to do it. Let me see what will
Just to
happen
prove
then.
to you
If
that I
yeah,
can
I
do
can
it.
do it.
Wow. Wow, it's interesting how, at times people that we just meet randomly,
Yes.
right, just turn and become family just because of the way we
Exactly.
relate and we build. Hmm. Interesting. Interesting. Now, I want to pivot the conversation a little bit, if you don't mind. Um, you've had to deal with a lot of people, right? Building a business, and it's grown and grown, and now you have operations you have offices in like 3 or 4 states, right? Like offices, right? Which means that you're constantly hiring people, promoting people, possibly firing people,
Mhm.
and all of that.
Firing and some of them actually walking away. Mhm.
Maybe some of them walking away and then getting
Yeah.
replaced and all of that. What
Yeah.
would you be able to share some thoughts around what I call your people practices, right? What has worked for you? What hasn't worked for you, right?
Yeah.
And any advice for younger, if you want to do it differently.
Well, if I had to do it differently on people, I'll take back those years when I didn't know what I was doing and I was honest about it with my team. Because I think that puts some sort of fear and trepidation even in them. And they felt, well, is this a good organization to be at? And because I constantly told them, I need your help. I can't do this alone. We all have to do this together. You need to focus. You need to, this is where I want to go. This is where I'm seeing. I know where I'm going. But now the journey there is not something that I have a clear path to. Because, I mean, let's be honest, I was one of the first to actually take this on in Nigeria as a business. And even not just as a woman, even with men and women and all of that. I mean, I remember when won the Access to Renewable Energy Awards in 2012. Yeah, it was some of the big names in the industry now were part of the people who won with me at that time. All of us didn't even know how the systems really, really worked out, or there was just a lot of misnomer. But one thing I was very clear about with my team was, I don't know, I don't know. But I think what a team needs is a leader who actually, even if you don't know, just pretend you know and just give them that bragado. Yeah, because to be honest, they also are looking up to you. So if you show fear, you're putting fear in them. So I know that some of the people that I had that were very good left simply because they were looking at me and were like, does Habiba know where she's going? Even though now they look back and they are very grateful and I mean, I've seen messages from some of them thanking me for all that I did with them in their lifetime and all of that. But I kind of feel that maybe if they felt a bit more courage from me, they would have actually stayed on. Because there were times things were, after that improved cook stove project ended, 2016 happened because we had that flood, we had a lot of things happening and we were losing money. Even paying salaries was a tough one for me. So there were months I would tell them, don't come to work. When I'm ready and I have money, come to work. And I was still trying to figure it out, really define my model again. So I think speaking out about it just made them uncomfortable. And they respect me, they love me, they like my person, but they were not sure if they had a place at that time there. But it's nice to be here today where they can look back and say, we were there with you, we saw your pain and all of that. I was just being very honest and open, but I don't think honest and open translates to, I mean, not pretend, but maybe like there's not everything that you will share. Don't share the fears. Another thing, when you're hiring, hire for skill and attitude. I've had to hire because you had the qualification, and I've been so burned because that person will wave their qualifications on your face every time and threaten and all of that. or be too full of themselves. So what I do now is I hire for attitude. You can reach out to me and I'll just look at you and say, I don't care if your certificate says you have 10 first classes or you have the masters or you schooled abroad or whatever. I don't care. Can you go to the village with me? Can you bend your head and respect a village leader and kneel down and greet him? Can you? I'm sorry, I know a lot of people don't believe in African values, but it is these values that brought us where we are, and I still respect them a lot. I do not have time for all of these people who say, "Oh, I am this. You cannot. It is who I am. I cannot." I don't. If you don't have respect, don't you can't work with me. Respect matters a lot to me because I work with people who already feel that the world has not been kind to them, and kindness is not just you giving somebody money or giving them food. Even from the way you talk to people is kindness. So you want to also make them feel like they are revered, and like we say in acumen, I'm an acumen fellow. Opposite of poverty is not wealth, it is dignity. So you need to give those people the dignity that they deserve. So you need to also, I mean, but if you're going to own a business that doesn't interface with people and you can deal with people who can do all kinds of shenanigans and be rude to people, go ahead. I mean, but for me, you cannot work with people with me if you cannot respect people. So I hire for attitude a lot. And I have fired for attitude as well severally. As soon as I see you are not just aligning, I fire. Another thing I tell people every day is that we are sisters and brothers in this office. Why? Not because we are born of the same family, but because by from 9 a.m. to 5 a.m. of the most days of the week, we are here together, whether we like each other or not. So we need to find a way to respect each other and manage each other and know that it's a family. Another thing I don't play with is education of my team. Trainings, and it's not just about training them to become good in their skill. No, soft skills especially. I love when recently we did a life map training, and I got one of my mentors. She lives in the US to do a 2-day training for them, talking about life maps. They came to the group. They were talking. Some people were saying how they cried. Some people were talking about they didn't know how deep it was going to be. All of those things. Because I believe when you work for people, you need to work with people. And they say charity begins at home, right? They are my first point of charity first before I carry it to the communities. So it matters to me a lot that they feel good about where they are. And I'm not just focusing on the money. And I know that our money is not fantastic, but I'm focusing on the fact that I treat them like good human beings. I'm okay with them. I bring myself, I don't have any airs around me. I know a lot of my team members don't have any airs around them. We just deal with each other like we are pals in the office. And, of course, we know when it's time for work. If I was finding with you 1 minute ago and you failed in one of your deliverables, you will hear it from me. So, yeah.
Wow. Wow. I'm sure that a lot of people will take a lot of learning from that, right? That we can be relatable, we can be human, and we can still take a very, we can still take a strict stance if we need to take a strict stance to get the job done without becoming inhuman or becoming unnecessarily, abusive. Do you get what I mean? Because I guess what people don't like these days, bosses and colleagues that are abusive and that reduces their sense of, who they are, right, as an individual versus, inspiring them to higher ideals. So thanks a lot for, for sharing that. It's inspiring to hear you say that you organize trainings for them. Yeah. Now, for me, Abiba, I tell people that when you walk in a place, and this is my philosophy, when you walk in a place, right, there are three things we take out of the place. You are the boss, right? You know this thing, but correct me if I'm wrong, right? I say that number one, the primary thing you take out of the place is the money you earn, which most of the time, even before the end of the month, you probably finished it or you've right. But number two, which is more important, right, are the learning you get from that place, right? The knowledge you gather, the things you build, the skills you build in the course of working in that place, right? Which nobody can take from you, because for me that knowledge and that skill is is convertible. You can convert it into even bigger deal later, bigger pay later. And then the final takeout from any work environment are the people that you meet, right? The network that you build. For me, those are the three, three key takeouts. And when, even if the money is not like the highest or the best in the world, right? If people are learning a lot and people are building significant critical relationships with great humans, right? I've seen that at times that it doesn't, people don't just leave because of money. People, at times when they look at all of these things, yeah, it's a big deal. So thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for sharing all of that. I can see that you're a bit tired, right? So I will run I will run through a few questions and then I'll allow you go so that you can go rest, right? Is that okay? Yeah. So my next question, Abiba, is around you, and you've mentioned this a couple of times, and I just want to know what your experiences were like being the first woman, right, to do what you're trying to do or what you've been doing in Africa or in Nigeria. Is probably, a male dominated space, right? What has it been like navigating that, and all the are there seasons that people didn't want to deal with you because you're a woman, or they didn't give you opportunities?
Well, you see, it's been tough. Like I shared in the beginning, working with international organizations was the easiest. I mean, people recognized me, people supported me because I was a woman. When I go into the communities to do the work and I start speaking with the leaders and I talk to them, they are impressed that, oh, you're a northern woman and you're like this. Then, and I want to speak with their women. They are easy to say, okay, you know what, go ahead, go and talk to our women. So you see, like being a woman helps me in that. But when you come to the industry itself, I've lost a lot of opportunities because I'm a woman. You know, some people would, I mean, I've been in Kaduna State when El Rufai was first made governor. My business was first based in Kaduna for a very long. In fact, up till now, my business is based in Kaduna. I just have a branch in Abuja now, and I was so happy because I was like, "Yay, a progressive governor!" And I'm here. I think then, self, were not no other company had come and set up in Kaduna really, and I was like, "Oh yes, let's go." So we write a letter to them, tell them we want to come and introduce the business and all of that. They agree, give us a date, and we go. Unfortunately, they said the governor had gone out. And there was just one guy we could speak with on Jinila while at that time. And as soon as I finished doing my presentation about my business, this man had actually been relaxing and looking at me like, and I was with my team. I had like 5 guys around me, and I think another lady, I can't even remember. And he's like, "Are you sure you are the boss?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm the boss." And he's like, "Okay. So you mean you are the one that climbs poles to do it?" I said, "Well, I don't have to climb poles to do it, but if I have to, I will do it. But look at these guys around me; they all work for me." And immediately, my team quickly like chipped in. I remember one of the guys. Was it what's his name again? He quickly said, "No, but we work with her. We know what we're doing." Like they said, trying to explain the technicalities that they do, and I'm the boss. So you see that kind of attitude, and I know that one of the reasons why we never really took anything forward with Kaduna State was simply because of that. Because later, another male-owned company came into the state. That guy was given land, was given a place to set up his company and all of that. And, he hit it off well. He was based in Abuja before, but he went to Kaduna. He got this kind of, very nice reception. And I keep thinking, maybe if I had gone as a man, I would have gotten more, support. And I'm a Northern woman, and I'm a woman again. There are places that people just don't respect that women like us will go into, Northern women all covered up, all, looking like a hijabite and all of that. So that also makes people don't trust that, oh, this person has all covered up. I mean, now things are better. People now look at it. In fact, when some women open their mouths and they speak, even in their hijab, people are like, wow, but at that time it was really, really a tough one. And then I've had opportunities like I remember one time when they did the Access to Renewable Energy Challenge and we won. Normally, every organization won for each state. I won for Niger State. Before I knew it, another company was already doing work in the Niger State. I was supposed to be doing work and getting the funding that I should have, maybe we should have gotten from the Bank of Industry to do the work, you know. And I mean, you won for another state. Why didn't you do your work in your own state that you won? Why is it the state that I won that? you're coming to do. And some people that didn't even work being the archery. So I believe that there was just this distrust that this woman cannot do it. But nobody was looking at it at that time. How do we train this woman to do it? How do we optimize her processes to do it? There are some of the companies that we won that with. And I look at some of their mini grid sites now and I compare it to our own. It can't even shine a torchlight to our own. And these are people that in those days, I've even asked them for help, like, oh, technically I'm not, can you help me train my staff? And they're telling me, well, that is intellectual property. We are not sharing. And that intellectual property, look at the breeds they are churning out. I churn out better breeds because I am working in partnership with a very good Dutch company and they do not play with standards. So standards are very, very important to us now. And just like I said, it's Sosai, right?
Is Sosai, it's excellence, is doing it right, is integrity. Wow. Wow. I mean, it's interesting to hear that you've had to deal with all of these. And again, I want to ask you a little question around, if I consider the fact that an average woman, not just in the north, right, but in Nigeria, particularly in the north, right, are not usually like well set up for success, right? You have taken a very different, your journey has been different, right? What would you say are the factors that set you up for the kind of influence and the success and the impact you've been able to make today? Is this something about your education? Is this something about your parents? Is this something about your drive?
Okay, I'll say I'll attribute some to my mom and her family, and my dad again a lot because my dad believes that. I mean, when we were growing up, when we were kids, when I was maybe 2 or 3, my father, like I told you, was a policeman, and he wasn't like an officer in the police. He was other ranks, right? And people don't. His mates were not putting their children in nursery school. But the guy had a vision. He wanted his children to go, and his first 3 children were girls. So, I mean, as far as he's concerned, children are children, right? What you will expect that other men will say, oh, it's a boy that should do. My dad took his children and put us in nursery school. I'll never forget. We were taught them by Europeans, right? And people told him he was wasting money. I still vividly remember pictures of him proudly holding his child with her lunchbox in her hand, you know, and it's that fact that he made us believe whatever it is you want to do, do it. I beg you, you can do it. Even till he died, he just believed. Like he never looked at it like, are you sure? He was always like, go further now, do it now, and all of that. So it was never a question of I can't do it, and your parents are saying, you're a girl. There has never been that thing with us. My mom, she was working with Kaduna State Transport Authority for some time. She used to do conductor when buses were going to travel. So I think my parents have always been people who believe that if you want to do it, you will do it. And you go on and do it. And then I remember that my mother, she's a very industrious person. She doesn't like sitting down. I remember growing up, my mother waking up very early. Maybe yesterday she had made chin chin in the morning before 6 a.m. She's already out of the house. She will hawk that chin chin to buses that are leaving, maybe for the East, Lagos, and all of that. And then she would immediately go and drop her tray, come back and join her boss and go on her conductor job. She baked cakes, she did all of this. And then when they finally retrenched some staff and she had to leave, she quickly set up this mama put in the mechanic village and we were selling food. So it's always been a life of if you have to keep struggling, you can't just sit that way. You have to also we didn't, and for us, every situation. And another thing they grew in us was a sense of contentment. Our realities were the best things in life. Like, I didn't know I was poor. I thought I was rich. I didn't know. I thought this was life. So every other privilege we got was always like, wow, this existed. This is my best life. But so advancing in life has always been everything has always been my best life because and then I'm also very I'm not that person who would want to shout that, oh, I've arrived. Oh, I don't, I'm a bit like, keep it in there and all of that. And probably why a lot of people don't seem to know who we are, because it's not about how you see us. It's mostly about what have you done? Is it even worth seeing? Don't show off. My mother will tell you in my language, this MEA, like, you're telling people that look at me, I've arrived. So she's always telling us, she's always warning us, don't go and do that. Keep it down. What have you done that people have not done before? Go and sit down. So I think all of those values just helped us to know what to do. And then I think another value that really helped me is stubbornness. And I tell people, and even my daughter says it, she said, you don't know the daughter of who I am. You don't tell us you can't do it. If you say you can't do it, that's when we'll do it. So when people showed this whole, oh, she's a woman, she may not be, instead of making me feel to go and sit down and not do it, I decided, okay, I'm going to do it. Let me see what will
Just to
happen
prove
then.
to you that I can
I
do
can
it.
do it. So for me, you don't make me feel like I can't do it. It will just spur me on. So if you want me not to do it, just say, you are doing it very well. Maybe, I don't know. Probably to make me sit back. But once you show that, you can't, you are not, I'll say, okay, no problem. I'll just keep quiet. Before you know it, you hear that I've done it.
So done it. I mean, if I put all of that together, right? So that will be, your dad sowing into you the seed of that dare, right? That you need to be daring. You need to walk with vision. I mean, I love the fact that he went out of, God bless fathers and mothers too, by the way. But, fathers are really, saw beyond their limitation to say that I want a better future for my children and I will set them up for success, even if it's going to come to me at a cost, right? Because he could have chosen to live a different life. You and I know that.
Hey, thanks a lot for taking the time to watch the podcast. We are super thankful for you taking that time and investing the time to learn. We hope that you find the story inspiring, and beyond that, that you've been able to articulate one or two things that you want to do differently in your own entrepreneurial journey. May I encourage you to please like, subscribe, comment, and please share the word within your own circle of influence, especially within those that you think are on the same entrepreneurial journey with you. May I also encourage you to please, beyond subscribing to our YouTube channel, follow us on our other social media platforms. That means a lot to us, and we can see that that helps us to track that we're making some progress and so making some impact. Thanks a lot once again for taking the time to watch, and we'll see you on the next episode.